We're talking to Becky, huh? Yeah. Okay, Becky, are you there, girl?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, baby?
Hey, well, I just wanted to ask you, so you still hadn't got the ceiling fixed yet?
No, ceiling hasn't been fixed, but I don't look up that much, and it doesn't bother me. And I might have to have the door replaced because I almost went through it. But
Well, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's so funny. I was saying to myself after the fall, because I really did a good job. I thought, geez, I wish there was a camera. Is that sick, Becky? Huh? Is that sick, Becky? Once a stunt man? Oh, he's a stunt man.
Stunt man.
All right, you got a question for me? Good looking.
Yes, I do, sweetie. Was it when you were on Black Sheep Squadron? Is that what got you first interested in flying?
Yes.
And did you ever fly with Pappy Boyington or ever fly one of those Corsairs?
Yes. The answer to the first two questions are yes, that's what got me interested. The second is, I ever fly with Pappy? Yes. And the third, never in a Corsair. I was training, and I needed 40 hours of training, and that's when the show got canceled. So I quit the training because there was no point in it for my taste, because I only wanted to be a part of the show. Reason I started to fly, and I owned 2 airplanes, it's kind of hard getting in the Corsair. It's a high first step, and then they'd move it 40 or 50 yards, and then I'd have to get back on it. When I asked one of the assistants, I said, what do I need to do to be able to move that myself? And he said, get a pilot's license. So not only did I get a license, I got the prestige license, the instrument license, and I owned 2 planes. I owned the Saratoga, which unfortunately was the plane that Kennedy was flying when he went in, and I also owned another airplane that was pressurized to 25,000 feet, and it was a 1540 was the distance. It was a beautiful airplane, but I sold both of them, and the reason I sold the Saratoga is because the engine went out coming out of San Francisco, and I had my 2 sons with me in the airplane. I looked at the 2 of them and myself. I said, well, that's the end of the Conrad dynasty if I don't do this right. And instead of letting me come back to San Francisco because there was too much traffic, they sent me to an alternative airport in Stockton. And I knew that I only had 1 shot at that runway. I knew that. Fortunately, I had enough altitude to get from San Francisco to Stockton, and they knew that, and I knew it, and we made it. And the airplane stayed there and was sold there in Stockton, never to be flown again. So that's the history of my flying, and I flew for 20 years, and my former wife became a pilot, and we used to fly together, but I guess there won't be any more of that, huh, Becky?
Maybe not, probably not.
Okay. All right, I love you, Becky. Thanks for your friendship.
I've got one more. I've got a message for you.
Go, baby.
I'll make it real quick.
Take your time.
Sue's probably not going to be able to make it. Her friend just had her 5th child, and Sue's having to go keep an eye on the other 4.
Oh, there to go.
Hey, give Sue my best, and tell her, she's always in my thoughts. And thanks for you giving me that message, Becky. I hope to see you soon too, kid.
Me too.
Okay, bye,
girl.
Have
a good weekend, darling.
Thank you
too, Paul.
Oh, thank you, Becky.
Excuse me. So,
Bobby got the best fans.
So, yeah, well, no,
friends. The listeners.
The
friends. Listeners, of course.
Fan is something you put in the living room when it's hot.
You're right.
Press a button and it comes down. So anyway, I couldn't help it. I was watching, there's TVs all over this place because you get the current news. So if something happens, you see it, and then you get right on the air with it. We don't, but that's what other shows do. And I was thinking I saw this guy who does interviews, and I think it was the first guy to really do the interviews. And his name is, what's the name of that guy? We were just talking about him.
The guy that does
King.
Oh, Larry King. Larry King.
You flunked.
Oh.
Anyway, so Larry
Bob,
King.
I told you I got amnesia. I couldn't remember what.
Larry King is in Palm Springs, and he's going to be one of the guests. And I am the person that's the host, introducing everybody. And Jane Wyman, President Reagan's first wife, introduced me, and I was really thrilled at what she said because she's such a great actress and a lovely, beautiful woman. And here comes my introduction to Larry King, and as Larry's passing me and I'm going back to the table, he instantly was sitting with a couple of beautiful women. I don't know why, maybe he's got money. And I went by Larry and I dropped the name on him. and he froze for a moment and blushed, and then he kept going. And the name that I dropped was the name of a guy that was in Florida back in the day when Larry was doing radio out of Florida, and the guy I mentioned was a well-known corrupt person, alleged mafioso, and I think maybe Larry was interviewing. But anyway, it's just a funny thing that happened. I thought I'd mention it, so I know you're bored with that, but I don't know, I did it. Oh, you are what you eat, so I've got to do this one because John has sent us an email and says, can you please share your thoughts on supplements with listeners? Thanks, John. Hey, you've always been a great athlete. Thanks for that. Thanks for saying about my athletic prowess, and I'm proud of that. And I know my weight's been as high as 220 and as low as 145 back in the day. And
220, that must have been muscle.
You are, was solid, but it was fat. And you are what you eat, John, so watch your calories, and the calories will take care of you. How's that sound? Now, Bob, do you do things like this? It says, I spoke with you a few times. I was the girl that called in on High Mountain Ranger fan list. Anyway, I'm in Tennessee, and I'm in the middle of floods. Is it Tennessee? I'm in the middle of floods, and we were spared. She was, but it's not a war zone. Oh, she's in Nashville. Yeah, please, on Thursday, could you encourage your listeners to donate to the Nashville Red Cross, to the Carthage Red Cross, please, please. I just did it. I think I'm way late on this, and I'm sorry. But those of you that don't think I was way late, the Nashville Red Cross.
That was the flood that was happening a little while back.
Yeah, and also now we're going to go to the Arrow, and that's John in Virginia. But before we get to you, John, I think are we going to a commercial break?
We got a commercial break.
You got to kick it up so I can hear it, please. Okay, an old friend from Bear Valley. Okay, and I want to thank Milo. Hey, Milo, thanks for thinking about me, brother. An old friend from Bear Valley. Yep, I sure remember you. All right, now.
Bear Valley.
Is that a good thing when we have these? Yeah, I lived up there 20 years.
That sounds like some pretty rugged stuff.
It was very rugged, and the girls went to school every day on snowmobiles.
There you go. That must have been the life.
They loved it. You know, I used to wave to them every morning from the deck, and they'd go by, and then as soon as they got behind the trees, you'd hear the engines roaring, and they were typical kids.
There you go, folks.
Can you imagine being 12 or 11 or 10 and snowmobiling at school? My gosh.
You can't make it up.
Yeah, they're so lucky.
It's the weekend edition of the PM show.
With Robert Conrad.
Of course.
CRN travelers relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and